live. Welcome, lovely audience.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. We have such a great show tonight. I'm really excited.
Oh my gosh, Nerd Girl, you went above and beyond. It's going to guys, round of applause. Go ahead and give Nerd Girl all the applause, all the thumbs ups down in the comment section. So we've got not only some amazing content ready for you tonight, obviously, also, we got that sweet Satoshi merch. What are you wearing tonight, Nerd Girl?
Just a Satoshi 2020 plain shirt. I don't know. Can you see it?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Can you guys see it? Tell us in the comments.
Yeah. So Satoshi 2020, it's a vote for Satoshi in this presidential election.
There you go, guys. Yeah, vote with your hash rate, vote with your dollars, vote with your conscience.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of that, there are protests and riots breaking out across the United States, and that has a lot of people wondering, what about the peaceful crypto revolution? Interestingly enough, Coin Potato published an article about that very topic earlier today. Do you have that article up, Seth?
Yep, we got it up.
All right, awesome. So CZ Binance said Bitcoin is the peaceful protest. Additionally, Adam Back commented on crypto as the peaceful protest, and he said, when Rome is burning, history does not care which factions are more wrong. Zoom out, the solution does not lie within the empire. Opt out, exit, leave. Build and drive Bitcoin adoption. Buy HODL. That's the most effective thing you can do, and it's enough.
I don't know. I mean, that's a controversial take, I think, in many people's opinion. Guys, what do you think down in the comments section? Is it actually enough to buy and HODL Bitcoin as a protest to this sort of civil unrest? What do you guys think? Tell us down in the comment section. Is it enough?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that, voting with your dollar is one of the most effective ways that you can show your government that you are fed up with them. But is that enough for actually overcoming real injustice that money doesn't solve?
Yeah, I'm with you, Nicole. I question whether or not it really is a solution. Sure, the idea that Rome is burning, yes. The idea that the Republic is in trouble, we know this, right? Somebody on Twitter just tweeted, they tweeted a very anti-POTUS sentiment. And for my part, I don't want to comment on who's currently in office or who was previously in office, but they had a very anti-president sentiment. And I said, well, we kind of knew what we were getting into on election day and then on inauguration. And we knew that this situation has been getting kind of worse with a lot of the programs that are administered at the federal level. To your point, especially finance. We've known there's a problem for so long. So yeah. So, awesome.
All right. So the next major thing in crypto news today, Cointelegraph published an article saying the last time this happened, Bitcoin surged from $3,150 to $14,000. And what they're talking about is the inflow of Bitcoin into exchanges plunged, which means that investors are moving their Bitcoin off of exchanges, indicating that they plan to hold it longer term. They're not planning to sell it anytime in the immediate near future.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This kind of has me concerned. I'm not gonna lie, Nerd Girl. I'm a bit concerned by how much institutional investor money we're seeing in the space. Grayscale, they bought up more Bitcoin apparently than was mined since the halving. They've bought up more Bitcoin than has been mined. So to see these two things combined, that's a little bit disconcerting, wouldn't you say? That Grayscale Investments is buying up every bit of Bitcoin liquidity that they can find, and apparently they bought almost 50% of the available Ethereum that's been mined since then.
I think that's probably a good sign for the price of those coins, though. No?
Agreed. It probably is. It does bode well for the price, but in terms of the availability of liquidity, the velocity, right, of these networks actually seeing new people come in, onboarding, and just getting new blood. I don't know that it's really good for that. It has me a little bit concerned, just a little bit, but in part that's because I'm a somewhat anti-ETF and anti-institutional money kind of guy. I'd love to see more grassroots followers in the space, more people that are hodling or using their coins based on their own ability to be custodians of their own coins and keys. I don't know. My take on it.
Yeah, I just don't know if there's enough money to really move the price and read from retail anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, right. They need to go print some more.
Yeah. So our next topic for the news is another crypto potato article. Chainlink surged to a 3-month high, but is now facing important resistance, and Chainlink has broken above $4.30. But it looks like $4.30 is acting as a temporary support. If it breaks it, the price could drop to $4, and a fall below $4 would initiate a sell-off to $3.50. So really unsure. It seems like Chainlink keeps bouncing back even when, technical analysis indicates that it should fall. We'll see what happens next, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's a funny thing. We don't offer technical analysis here on. Oh, thank you so much. I'm being handed a can of V8 to help us with the live stream. Thank you. Technical analysis is not something that we offer on the channel today, but you have so many people that are strong technical analysts and much stronger on the fundamentals. A lot of these coins and Chainlink, of course, being what it is, that's market cap. Like another one of these projects where it's like nobody wants to see the price go up more than bag holders, and nobody wants to see the price just stay within a very specific narrow band more than market makers. You know, like it's kind of this weird beast. I don't even know what to think of some of these really large cap coins, because for us, it's like, oh, well, even with half your net worth in coins, that may not make a dent at all. So,
yeah.
That's crazy.
The next piece of news is from CoinDesk, and it is about crypto influencers who are following the beauty playbook, even if they don't know it. So she's saying that Michelle Phan isn't the only woman to notice similarities between makeup startups and crypto companies. And I want to bring up briefly that I was trying to do a crypto beauty crossover campaign for a while, but the community was essentially extremely resistant, and I stopped. But absolutely recognizing the similarities between these projects is important. Between the beauty influencers playbook and the crypto influencers playbook is important, and they include YouTube giveaways, sponsorships, and referrals, and similar growth strategies. In other words, influencing isn't that difference in high finance and technology that it is in makeup and beauty products.
Oh my gosh. I thought we were special. Nicole. What are you trying to say?
I thought we were special too. So the last news leads into our Matic review for the night, and that is a Cointelegraph article which said that Matic's price has tumbled 20% on the mainnet launch, which was officially announced today. They've said that the price of Matic fell from a high on May 29th of 26 cents to drop 30% to test 20 cents today. Now, what's really important to note about this article is that Cointelegraph got this terribly, terribly wrong. In fact, Matic's price has never been above 4 cents. And checking the volatility from today, I think that you can pull that up on your screen, right, Seth?
Yep. So I'm going to pull up a trading view display on CoinGecko.
Great.
And we've got the 7-day that's up on the screen right now.
All right, great. So I can't see it, but can you tell us what you're seeing in the 7-day?
Yeah. So, I'm seeing that it hit a bit of resistance all the way up at, like you mentioned, 2 cents and 0.6 of a cent, roughly. So about 268 pennies, 2.68 pennies.
So
and then
the mistake of Cointelegraph here is the place of the or not the decimal place, but a lack of a zero, right? So they've got it at 26 cents and 20 cents where it should have been, 2.6 cents. And
yeah, they were. It's amazing how much difference a zero makes, right? Or decimal placement.
Makes a huge difference in the market cap. And then also, if you were looking at, how much investors' holdings fluctuated.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it'd be one thing if they had that same mathematical error, that same accounting error on both sides, right? If they just moved the decimal to the wrong direction on both sides, but they kept into an unbelievably high standard on the first part. Like, wow, look at how valued this project is, and then by comparison, made it seem like now it's trash. It's like, no.
All right, Cointelegraph, if you're watching, fix it.
Awesome. Hey, Michael, thank you in the comments section saying, wow, you guys are well organized. So guys, again, kudos to my lovely co-host, Nicole. Go ahead and take a look at the Satoshi for President 2020 t-shirt that she's wearing over in the Mineyour.biz merch store. You can have one just like it. And in fact, you can pay for it in your favorite coin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin, and many, many more.
Awesome. Okay, so that moves us into a review of Matic. So I first want to say that I derived this model for creating an objective reviews of coins from watching Crypto Candor reviews and kind of drawing some standards from there. Also, need to tell you that I'm not a financial advisor, neither is Seth, and nothing that is ever said on this show should be interpreted as financial advice. This is just research, and you should always do your own. So that said, I did write a pretty extensive Matic review. We're not going to have time to go over all of it today. We're just going to kind of briefly touch on what Matic is and, what we see, what we think about for the future of the project, right? And then
Awesome.
Anybody who we're going to create later this week a longer review of Matic, and then anybody who wants to read it can check out the full text article on Mineyour.biz.
Awesome. So let's start from the very top. What the heck is Matic anyway?
All right. Matic is a second layer scaling solution for Ethereum that solves the problem of slow block confirmations and high gas fees so that mainstream users can be targeted for mass adoption. It uses side chains for off-chain computation while ensuring asset security using the Plasma framework and a decentralized network of proof-of-stake validators. Matic provides developers with the ability to deploy applications with faster and cheaper transactions while maintaining a high level of security by using a novel combination of hybrid proof-of-stake and Plasma-enabled sidechains. In short, Matic is a scaling solution currently enabled for Ethereum, but with the potential for scaling other layer 1 protocol levels in the future.
So cool. So what you're saying is, in this high-level overview, that while Matic is currently using Ethereum, that it could potentially be ported to other smart contract-enabled blockchains.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit before the show. And yeah, I'm excited. So yeah, I'm just excited. I just wanted to express that right now. I've been dying to let that little squee out of me, right? Like it's.
Oh, I know. You've been so excited.
Crypto news for the last little while has all been not enough squee, so I had to just throw one of those in there. But what are the purposes of Matic anyway?
Actually, you know what? Before we go any further, we do need to disclose that we received a bounty from Matic for this review, but we're in no way influenced to say one thing or another about the coin or the project.
Yes, agreed. Our copy was not approved, nor was it handed to us by Matic or by any third parties. This was entirely edited, triaged, and generated, well, primarily by Nicole, but then passed off by me before we published it here. So what you see is entirely representative of opinions that Nicole formed by doing her own research. And you can do the same, of course.
Yep. So what are Matic's purposes? Well, it's to solve scalability with layer 2 solutions, to provide a developer experience like Stripe for dApps. It provides assets interoperability via DEXs and provides a better UX and UI for mass adoption while offering better security and scalability.
Awesome. Hey, I got to just quickly give a shout out to Michael Carter of Bitsby Trippin'. Thanks so much. He just went ahead and donated the channel a $20 super chat over on YouTube. He's a little excited because Bitcoin has passed 10,000. He says, crazy times, but BTC passed 10K. He says, drinks on me tonight. Stay safe.
Thank you so much for that. All right, so who started the project? Who's on the executive team? What are their qualifications and credentials? Okay, well, Matic started in 2017. 3 founders. First, and I hope that I don't completely butcher their names, Jane T. Kanani, co-founder and CEO, who has a bachelor's of engineering in information technology. He worked as a data scientist for housing.com before contributing to Web3, Plasma, and Wallet Connect as a full stack developer and blockchain engineer. Second is Sandeep Neil, co-founder and COO, who has an MBA in tech, finance, and supply chain management. He was the head of technology and supply chain of Wellspun Group's e-commerce division, co-founder and CEO of scopeweaver.com. He's a blockchain programmer and an entrepreneur. And third is Anuraj Arjun, co-founder and CPO with a bachelor's of engineering in computer engineering. He was a VP product management for Iris Business, also worked for SNL Financial, Dexter Consultancy, and Cognizant Technologies. On the advisory board are the founder and CTO of Decentraland, Esteban Ordano, project lead at Decentraland, Ari Milik, and head of engineering at Wallet at Coinbase, Pete Kim.
So cool. So essentially, I mean, and audience, you've heard me talk about it very frequently, that I believe we need to take a lot more cryptocurrency projects and really evaluate the strength of the team, the advisory board, the talent behind it. Ask yourself, do they have the ability, and do they have the track record of delivering projects on time, under budget, consistently in the past? Will anybody else vouch for them? What's the pedigree of this project? And clearly this bodes really, really well for Matic. When you brought this over to my attention, and when we looked at the project together, Nicole, this just really struck me as a powerful, powerful team. So
yep, I'm really looking forward to this. So next was there an ICO and what happened? And during the ICO, there was not an ICO, it was a Binance IEO. So you can look up the specifics on, which coins were awarded for. We're not going to go into all of the breakdown right here, right now. So the technology is the next point, right? Is there proof of work or proof of stake? Matic offers a hybrid proof of stake and plasma-enabled side chains. Matic is an ERC20 token used to pay for services on the Matic network. It also serves as a settlement currency for users of the Matic ecosystem. So
cool. Yeah. So with the proof of stake system that they have, what they have right now with validator nodes, expect, just guys, for the purposes of the Mind Your Biz content channel, both on the website and then of course for this channel, for this video channel, expect to see a follow-up on how you can participate as a validator, or if it's possible to participate as a validator in this current phase of development for Matic. I know for our audience, a lot of the gearheads, we're wondering, hey, can I build a system or can I provision a VPS in the cloud that allows me to contribute and get a portion of the block reward passively? And while we don't have an answer for you tonight on exactly how you can do that, just expect that we will in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was something that I didn't even consider looking at until we talked to him. So there are layers, services, applications, and devices. We're going to go over all of that in the longer video, but let's move forward to coins, which we know the current value of Matic is 2 cents and some fractional pennies, right? The circulating supply is 3.433 billion tokens. The max supply is 10 billion tokens. Where is it sold? Well, it's sold on Binance, Bilexi, BitRabbit, BitMax, Whitebit, and 30 other exchanges. If you want a full list of where it is sold, please visit our website and check the link. Everyone that has a hyperlink built in is a referral link, which means that Seth and I would get a portion of your trading fees on that exchange, but wouldn't come out of your pocket. You're paying them whether we get them or not. So it would be really awesome if you signed up for those. We would like it.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I mean, as you know, please click all the links. Please be supportive in any way that you can. Again, those referral links, they cost you nothing, as Nicole said, but they do mean a lot to us. So thank you so much for, graciously following links that we have in the description and on the website.
So where is it used? Aside from being purchased and sold on exchanges, it can be used. There are 3 use cases within the Matic network. The first one is for staking. Network participants stake Matic to participate as validators. The second is for paying for transaction fees and paying staking rewards to proof of stake stakers. And the third one is that it intends to enable separate staking mechanism for supporting ecosystem projects funded by reserving a percentage of transaction fees.
Awesome. Yeah. So paying for transaction fees, of course, we expect this in any kind of a smart contract enabled platform. Staking, we don't always expect this other than when it's a proof of stake project. But then a separate staking mechanism to support all the ecosystem projects. That's where I think it gets interesting, in that they're attempting to foster a an environment of developer friendly projects and sort of they want other developers to come and build with them and on them and through this new platform and protocol.
Yeah,
so
and
that's exciting.
So what's coming up to look forward to with Matic? Well, this one's a lot, okay? So Binance US has already said that they will list the token when the mainnet is live. The mainnet is officially live now. I assume that means that Binance US will be listing the token very, very soon. There are also rumors of a Coinbase Pro and Coinbase listing backed by the knowledge that Coinbase invested in the project very, very early, even pre-seed stage. There's a link for you to find that for yourself right there. The mainnet is now live. A link to their announcement of that right there in the hyperlink. Staking will begin very soon. Over 100 companies are interested in building on or migrating to Matic once the mainnet launches, including Decentraland, MakerDAO, ZeroX, Neon District, Bet Protocol, Harmony, and more.
Yeah, this is where it gets super interesting, guys. I mean, as far as Decentraland, we haven't covered it here on Mineyour.biz at all, only because it's not directly related to proof of work. Expect, of course, that we will at some point because it is content creation. You know that we are big on content creation as well. But this number of partnerships is pretty darn strong. Nicole, I hate to cut things short because I'd love for us to be able to get all the way through the article right now. But guys, I posted a link to the full article over on Mineyour.biz. And you can look forward to the full video where we do the top to bottom review of Matic Network on the channel very, very soon. In the meantime, we have a special guest. Who do we have? And we're going to have to go to the waiting room, pull them in. Who do we have as our special guest? Let's, here we go. Links going out. Room is opening up. Guys, actually, it's not a big surprise. We already told you. It's in the name of it's in the title of the video, and it's in the description, of course. We have a representative of Walton Chain who's joining us tonight. So by show of hands, miners in the house, who here actually tried mining Walton Chain when it was supposedly CPU only? Tell us down in the comment section. I mean, no pressure, but like, tell us something in the comment section.
Yeah, so we have Alex Morales from Walton Chain, USA.
Awesome. And he will be joining us as soon as he can.
Okay. Should we go back to reading through the Matic review while we wait?
You know what? I think, yeah, we should.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so other things to look forward to. Future plans to support other non-ETH blockchains offering interoperability features alongside scalability. This means Matic could be used on other base layer protocols like EOS, Cardano, etc. Not that it will be on any of those, just that it's possible. Is that right?
Yeah, it is absolutely possible. And this is part of what makes their project so strong is that there's a bit of fault tolerance built in. And I think that they intend to potentially build in that direction. Of course, it's just too early right now. They're attempting to prove this concept, right, of scale and scale of transactions, throughput, and then the child chain linear transaction scaling on Ethereum first. Like, nail it and then scale it is always the thing, right? So why expand to like several other blockchains when you haven't fully nailed the process on Ethereum first?
Right. So we also have the Matic wallet coming up, cross-chain transfers like BTC using pegging, allowing anyone to trade currencies on a Matic-based DEX. Pros and cons of the project. So first, there's some pros. They've executed multiple milestones on time early in the project. They have increased developer activity. According to the GitHub, Matic developers are actively working on and updating the mainnet code. They are actively updating the smart contracts and fixing bugs as well, which is important since this whole project aims to help improve smart contracts. Yeah,
I've got to say, when you threw me that task today, like, hey, Seth, check the GitHub right away. Go take a look, validate this stuff is actually happening on time. And that's what impressed me most, Nicole, was that when I looked through the Matic GitHub repo list, and they've got several of them, right? They've got it's not just one monolithic repo, guys. If you're into development, it's not just one giant container full of code that's all like garbage being thrown in. It's a bunch of little garbage bins that have tiny bits of garbage thrown in. And that's, I'm being silly, right? Using developer speak. It's always a work in progress. It's not garbage. Saying containers, right? Full of code. And I saw one that was just for smart contracts, and it was literally being updated as I looked up their code repository today, Nicole. They've got updates that are being pushed regularly, and they've got a lot of people who are on task building out this new ecosystem, or this new platform for others to build on top of and build through. It's impressive.
Really exciting. So we've also got, they will allow investors and hodlers to earn rewards for staking. The primary target is India, which now has clarity on banking services for crypto companies. A link to evidence for that right in there. Another pro, Matic perpetually holds sufficient fiat reserves to fund operations for 1 year, with the remaining assets held in cold wallets with multi-sig support. So what that means is they have enough money to continue operating for a year, meaning that the price volatility of the coin itself really won't have a huge impact on their developer community. I mean, that's a huge relief for somebody who might be considering investing in the project, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, going to return to that first statement about team, right? If you ever have a concern about team for a given project, then that should be a red flag. There's no concern about this team. But if you think the team is capable, and they're not funded, it doesn't matter if they can't develop, right? If they can't afford to pay the bills, can't afford to keep the servers running that host the code, for example, to use one bad example, or keep the lights on, so to speak, at the business, then it doesn't matter how talented they are. They have to have funding. So that's awesome.
Yep. Okay. And then I think this is, okay, 2 more pros. Oh, 3 more. All right, 2 more. According to Binance Research and other resources, Matic is fast, cheap, and secure, has a smooth UX, is an easy tool for Ethereum developers to use for scaling dApps and protocols, and sidechains are structurally effective for supporting many DeFi protocols in the ETH ecosystem.
Yeah. I've got to say, among the other features you were talking about, or some of the use cases, just past gaming, Dagger. It's a platform that they have published that allows typical users, guys, you, us, Nicole, me, that we can use tools like Zapier, no code or low code tools like Zapier, or if this then that, and we can tie into the Ethereum blockchain using Dagger that Matic has just built. It's a really powerful thing. We can set off all kinds of automated alerts and email sequences, or a tweet, or a text, or whatever else. We can set off some of these automations without using any code. It's pretty awesome.
All right, and the final pro is that Coinbase, being an early investor in this project with a member still on their board, means there's a good chance that this token could eventually be listed on Coinbase Pro and Coinbase. And we all know what happens with the Coinbase pop, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So cons. All right, cons. Reliance on ETH as a settlement network, which is relevant to foundational security. And I know that you have something to say here, Seth.
Yeah, I mean, and this is kind of where, the audience is they're not strangers to hearing me talk out of both sides of my face. I like to argue both sides. I like to try to understand both sides of the debate. And I think for intellectual honesty, Nicole, I think that you understand that the ethos there, right? We don't want to be unfair. So there are some cons. Nothing is perfect. No projects are perfect out there. And it could be viewed as a weakness that Matic is building on ETH, because there was the MakerDAO hack in 2016. So
was it a MakerDAO hack, or was it the Ethereum DAO hack? Sorry,
it was the Ethereum MakerDAO hack. So yeah, it was in 2016. And so when you have a legacy hack that was such a big exploit, frankly, the same was true of Bitcoin, guys, right? Hidden inflation bug. The same was true of Monero, right? Hidden inflation bug. The same was true of Zcash, hidden inflation bug that nobody thinks was exploited. The same was true of Zero Coin protocol on Zcoin. Hidden inflation bug within Zero Coin, totally broken. Privacy was not completely accurate. This happens, right, within the cryptocurrency space. So it could be viewed as a weakness that it relies on the Ethereum blockchain, because there has been a hack that was documented and that was really pretty bad. It was really pretty bad. So that's kept some investors from really feeling bullish about ETH since 2016. Seems crazy now, right? We got 4 years of experience with ETH not breaking for the most part, but investors, they're an odd bunch, right? They're simultaneously risk averse and then have a really high risk tolerance in some cases.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the next two cons go together. I'm just going to roll them together if that's okay. So distribution of coins that went to seed stage investors and those who participated in the IEO and when those coins will be liquid is unclear. It is a large number of coins relative to the current circulating supply. Additionally, the plans for distribution of the network operations tokens, foundation tokens, and ecosystem tokens are also unclear, which is only troubling if there isn't a graduated mechanism in place to guarantee a large number of tokens can't be dumped on investors. Matic's white paper was down when I wrote this. However, right before we went live, they did send it to me. It is back up. I could find all of this information now, but I couldn't have it during the day. So we'll just move on to the fourth con. Media coverage of the project is lacking. Interviews with the founders and developers are hard to listen to because of their heavy Indian accents.
Yeah, that's a little bit of cultural bias. What are you going to do about that? I don't know.
Well, if we're looking at pros and cons for the project, it's reasonable to bring that up as, first world economies like the US are not used to listening and interpreting heavy accents. That's not a slight on the team or the project at all. It is a consideration for what they're going to do moving forward if they have spokespeople or, something like that.
It looks like we've got a little bit of a technical difficulty from Alex Morales from the Walton Chain Project. He's in the YouTube comments saying that he's struggling. Alex, go ahead and try the link again, just one more time. And I've sent that to your Twitter DM. So that link is the active link that we're using right now on Jitsi.
So while we finish that, I'm not going to even go over the thoughts really, but I am going to say that I can't speak for Seth. I'm not a financial advisor, and this shouldn't be interpreted as financial advice, but I am comfortable informing our audience that after doing the Matic research, I've decided to keep my portion of the bounty for this piece in Matic tokens for the time being.
Wow. So no flipping into ETH, no flipping into Bitcoin, no dumping?
Well, not saying that I'll never flip into ETH or Bitcoin, but right now I feel my intuition and research is leading me to believe that there's a lot of upside potential for Matic, and I'm going to hold the token.
Nice, guys. I ran the disclaimer title card also, so not financial advice.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got to say, I've got a lot of confidence in the team so far, based on the research that you did, based on reading the white paper and the light paper, going over some of the documentation for Matic. I'm impressed. I'm just really impressed.
So are you going to hold your Matic tokens from the bounty in Matic as well?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, how about this? I'll have an answer by the next time we do a video about Matic. Fair?
Okay, sounds good. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, guys, quick question for the live audience. Did you know about Matic before? I mean, a lot of people pretended to know about it when it had that sort of initial pump. It hit exchange and had kind of a pump on Binance. A lot of people said like, oh, yeah, Matic, totally, I knew about it. But then when pressed for details, couldn't produce any kind of an explanation as to what it did. I know Nicole and we had to read up quite a bit to understand it now. And when I saw it pumping on Binance, I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
But has anybody here heard of it before? Let us know down in the comment section. Michael says, let it ride for 6 months and you'll see. So, yeah, guys, don't all get up at once. Don't all tell us at once. But if you hadn't heard of Matic before, what did you learn about Matic tonight in hearing this presentation from Nicole?
Also, if you'd like to see someone from Matic come on the show so that you can ask him questions or him or her questions at some point, please let us know, because that's something that we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you know, I love talking to developers here on the show. Nicole, it has a really great way of getting into the correct questions, right? Looks like Alexander.
Alex still having problems?
Yeah. Yeah, we did send a link out previously before. So Alex, go ahead and if you can check your Twitter DM, the link.
All right, so while we wait, I want to say last week we talked about, we talked about Hex, we talked about Ethereum, we talked about Ethereum and Hex. Then we talked about BitConnect on Scambuster Saturdays. This week, we're talking about Walton Chain. We talked about Matic. So one thing that we noticed last week is that both Seth and I acknowledged a bias towards Ethereum, and I don't want that to be a thing on the show. And because of that, what I really want is someone from the Tron Foundation or team to come on this show. I spent the last week and a half looking for someone, and I couldn't get in touch with anybody. So if anybody knows anybody from the Tron Foundation, from the team, let us know that who you think might be willing to talk to us. Please let us know, because I really do want this to be equal, equal representation across the industry.
Yeah, guys, and here's the thing, because we've always been so focused on proof of work projects, sometimes we'll bring on proof of stake projects, or we'll bring on projects that maybe seem like they're just a little bit corporate, and there's we tend to be sometimes even a little bit hostile towards them. On the Mineyour.biz channel, I don't want to see that either. Definitely want to see us be more welcoming as a community of different kinds of projects, just to see hey, do they have something to offer the broader community? What is their onboarding mechanism? How do they intend to bring people who maybe would have been brought on board via proof of work mining? How can they overcome that hurdle? And I don't think we're going to get a really, really good answer until we talk to these people directly. So,
yeah.
So still not seeing Alex come into our chat right now. I'm going to try refreshing our page live. This is kind of tricky. Okay. Hey,
there he is.
There he is, the man of the hour. Alex, can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, we can hear and see you as well. Cool headset.
Oh, wow. Oh, thank you. Actually, it's my son's. I stole it from him.
That's so great. You know what, though? It's for the greater good. He'll understand.
Great. How you guys doing?
Doing awesome. So glad you can make it tonight. And I'm sorry about the difficulty in getting set up here. We've gone with Jitsi as a Zoom alternative, only because we wanted to be supportive of the broader video chat ecosystem, and because Jitsi supports end-to-end encryption for one-on-one chat. So we wanted to reward that.
Oh, very good. Yeah. I mean, when I was trying to get on before, it was just a bunch of blocks, and it looked like it was making all kinds of noise. But whatever you just sent me worked perfectly.
Okay. Good. Awesome. Hey, and Nicole,
we're specifically here to talk about Walton Chain and what is being done with supply chain management or supply chain tracking in the trucking industry. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. I mean, Walton Chain is a project that works with supply chain. How would I say? Also for trackability for packages. It's using an RFID chip. So in other words, Walton Chain actually was a company that was initially creating RFID chips, and they actually added the blockchain onto that through Walton Chain. They also have SelectTech. SelectTech is the hardware arm of that. So with Walton Chain, SelectTech, and their partnerships, they design everything in-house, all the way from the RFID chip, all the way down to the blockchain and everything else.
Very, very cool. So I did a little bit of research on Walton Chain, and it's very cool that they have that full vertical integration from the RFID chip all the way through to the blockchain. As I understand it, also, Walton Chain is totally compatible with QR scanning systems, right? QR code scanning systems. If you wanted to bypass RFID for some of your supply chain, or the only equipment that you had currently was visual, like optical scanning systems, you could use QR as opposed to RFID. Is that right?
Yes, you can, but that would really defeat the purpose of what Walton Chain is really going after. So, what I like to use an example, and whenever someone asks me what makes Walton Chain different from everybody else, well, we design all our stuff inside. We do all the software, the hardware, and to use an example, so I could make it a little easier, somebody understand. They'll say, "Why do I really want that?" Well, with the QR code and with barcode, they're not uniquely identifiable. In other words, it's just a barcode, the product, whatever. But with an RFID chip, you're able to identify each package, product, or whatever it is you're trying to track as its own individual hash and ID number.
Got it. So it's almost like the I apologize for the interruption. Almost like the data depth of Internet Protocol version 6 versus IPv4.
Correct.
Yeah, way more addresses.
Yeah, and so what makes it more interesting, And I want to use an example. Let's say, for instance, you want to track poultry, for example, and you take it all the way from the farm to the warehouse, to the trucking, all the way down to distribution, and then to the locations, the supermarkets. Now, each chicken is, let's say, I'm just using an example, use it for anything you want, but let's say, for instance, they find it has salmonella. Now, that chicken, it takes 5 to 7 days to track that all the way back to where the supply chain and start blacklisting those chickens per se, so the people won't consume it. But if you, with the RFID, it'll know exactly where it came from, and you can blacklist it right at the scanners, even if it went to different locations. So let's say you find out that batch number 45 that came from so-and-so location has salmonella. As soon as another supermarket, even if it came from the same truck, tries to scan it, it gets blacklisted and you can't buy it.
Got it.
That's really cool. That's
So what you're saying is that there's a strong possibility that if Walton Chain had been used as part of the supply chain management in the wet markets of Wuhan, that we might not have seen a global outbreak.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm just kidding. Legally, you can't say that. I get it.
I saw somebody eat a frog. I was like, that was enough for me.
That's really cool, though. It's really cool that that's you went to the application specifically of meat markets and such. I sincerely hope that. Oh my gosh! Speaking of meat markets, the current situation, guys. I know we're going to date this by speaking a little bit topically, but the current situation of economic slowdowns and market shuttering, and then more recently unrest because of the protests with regards to George Floyd. Without taking any kind, making any kind of a public statement on any of this stuff, guys. It really is kind of sad that we haven't come up with better systems, right, for all kinds of things, but including, like you're saying, just the basics, right? Grocery and some of our textile supplies, it's just stuff that we need because we've seen some of our supply chain be challenged.
No, there's actually an article that they wrote in Walton Chain that discusses what about all the things that came to the Red Cross. You're talking about the things in China that were given out as far as medications and things that are hospital supplies. You could track that and make sure not only that they're authentic, but exactly where it came from. You could track it, real time.
That's amazing. Yeah. So again, to use the example of recent catastrophes, being able to track and then validate that something is genuinely NIOSH rated as N95 for a mask, as opposed to being a cheap knockoff, right? Because there's been so many knockoff supplies since the run on N95 masks by medical professionals. That would have been huge.
No, for sure. And one of the most interesting things that I've seen with Walton Chain, they're still developing it. I'm probably going to get some kind of model or some kind of test model in the next couple of months. But instead of scanning each item, they get pallets and just boom, and the whole thing just gets scanned in one shot and gets right onto the blockchain. Then it goes. I mean, just the possibilities. Think of it going from the manufacturer to the warehouse, all the way to customs. You got payment. How would I say? The payments go through blockchain. Payment settlement go right through the blockchain, right through logistics, right through the country that it's going through, and you could track it all the way. And you could give as much information you want or no information at all. What makes Walton Chain also interesting is you have Walton Chain, the main chain. You can have child chains, and they all could talk to each other, right? It's a cross chain.
Got it. Let's talk a little bit about some of just a little bit of the technical info on Walton Chain. I'm going to bring us back to full screen here, guys, and there we go. Get us the 3 heads up view here. But let's talk a little bit about some of those use cases. Talk a little bit about some of the practical application of Walton Chain right now, and some of the technical info. As far as the technology that's built on, is it a fork of a blockchain that we would already be familiar with, like Litecoin, for example?
It was actually an ERC20 Ethereum blockchain until they came out with their own main chain. We just did a swap maybe a few months ago, but it uses some of the code of Ethereum, and it's in there, but it's very, very, very similar to Ethereum.
Okay, got it. And you mentioned the concept of child chains and then cross-chain interoperability between those child chains. That makes a lot of sense. It's not like it's an atomic swap system per se, as much as they're just all talking on the same settlement chain, which would be, I think, your new mainnet, right?
Correct.
As far as the child chains, is there a kind of some other technology that's built on Cosmos, for example, or Cosmos with the Tendermint consensus protocol? Is there any other part of the tech stack that we'd be familiar with? Or is it all built
I'm not.
in-house?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Cosmos, so I'm not sure about that one.
Got it.
But what makes it really unique is you can have your child chains, and they're going to be completely autonomous and separate from the main chain, and you use Walton Chain WTC in order. It's kind of like a neo gas per se that you use in order to make the transaction from one side to the other, and
Okay.
it's very minimal. What's also makes it interesting is everybody asks me about, is it cost efficient? Yes, I mean, we anticipate that the RFID chips are going to be less than 5 cents a piece, so you can pretty much put it on almost anything.
Got it. So let's go back to that first example of putting an RFID chip on a chicken. Where do you tag it, man? Seriously.
It's a chicken packaging. It's not live.
Okay, got it. I mean, here's the thing though. Like at the same time, if you ever looked at industrial farming, right, or industrial ranching, you tag cows all the time on their ear. That's just part of the process. Livestock in general, it's treated this way from birth, right, cradle to grave. There is a bit of a procedure for handling livestock this way. So, are there already some models for that? Is it being used in agriculture and livestock today?
It actually is. The first child chain that Walton Chain has with that is a DMTC, the meter chain. If you take a look at that, I can put some links on there later on. They also are in with Magic Cat. So Magic Cat is, if you have to look at it, it's pretty interesting. They have a machine. This is in China now. They have a machine out there that has organic food and has been traced all the way from the fields, whether it be animal product or plant products, all the way to the disbursement machine, and you pay right with a phone. If you look up Magic Cat and if you look up DMTC, you'll find it.
Okay,
It's called the meter chain.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and reorganize our the visuals on the live stream right now, so we can pull that up in another window.
I can ask a question while you do that if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of a point from the past, but is relevant when it comes to evaluating the team and the team behind Walton Chain and the trustability of the team. So on Twitter earlier today, my friend Bitsavis, who, thank you by the way, Bit, if you're watching, asked if Walton Chain did a fake giveaway to themselves. Someone operating the Walton Chain US Twitter account said it was a blunder for which Walton Chain had already publicly apologized. However, the winner, whoever the winner was of that contest, had access to the Walton Chain Twitter at the time. And we asked the operator of the Walton Chain US Twitter if he or she had been able to determine if that individual was fired or if that person was still on the team. Haven't got an answer yet. Thinking maybe you might have one.
No, I don't. I mean, remember I said they're 12 hours ahead of us, so I could find out that for you. But I mean, they publicly put it right on Twitter that it was a mistake, and they apologized. I don't know if you saw the tweet or not. I can send you that as well. So it's not like they put it under the carpet. They actually went ahead and acknowledged that as well. But I can get that information next time.
Right, but the question is, if that person is still working for the team and it was a mistake, right? Like, what is there in place to make sure that that same mistake doesn't happen again?
That's a good question. I can't answer that because I don't know, but I can get that for you and find out. I really can. I'll go ahead and email them, and we can get back to put it on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome. And I promise we didn't bring you on the channel to try to get you with a bunch of like little gotchas, right?
Not worried about that.
No, it's not that. It's just that if we don't address, the community questions, then what good are we doing here?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. There is that too, right? It's our due diligence. It's what we do for the community.
And it's all important to have transparency. That's not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, hey, especially for a project that's trying to put transparency on the retail blockchain. I mean, you're trying to show us where stuff is at on the blockchain, an open public ledger.
Another interesting project you might want to look up is Polo. Polo is going to be the first smart city that's working with Walton Chain. It's in Brazil. If you look at Brazil Cointelegraph, it came out on there.
Okay.
And you'll find it's Polo Mundial, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. I think it's Polo. And if you just do a Polo Brazil Walton Chain, you'll probably find it.
Okay. I'm writing that down.
It's going to be the first smart city built on that. So
this is great. I'm seeing it on Polo Multimodal.
That's the one.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna bring it up. Here's the thing, man. I mean, I have such respect for Brazilians. You see, I mean, when they build, they go all out. If you know Brazilian business people, they do not stop until they get something built. And so this is exciting. Excited to see that partnership there. And it looks like we are It's already been localized to English here. So pretty cool. Polo Multimodal is one of the greatest partnerships Walton Chain has, they say. 20 million square meters. Okay. The logistic corridor. Porto Pesem. San Gonçalo do Amarante. Okay. I don't know this area. But that's really cool. Okay. How does this compare to the blockchain city that's being proposed in, is it Nevada? They wanted to do this outside of Las Vegas? I'd have to look it up.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. There are a couple of blockchain cities that have been proposed, and I don't think any of the ones that are stateside, I don't think they're going to materialize before this one, Alex. Now that you bring this up, I really think the Brazilians are going to beat us to it. I really do.
It's very possible.
I'm just saying, man, in some cases they have less red tape, and their work ethic is no less than ours, right? So it'll just happen.
No, they work hard, that's for sure.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And then with Magic Hat, you mentioned, I didn't pull that up very easily. How's that spelled?
Just Magic Hat, the way you see it. I have a video on that. It may not just pop up. I'll send it to you the link, but it's there's a whole video that explains how it works.
So
I don't have it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So I said someone in the comments on the live stream said something, told the story of what happened with the intern giveaway, and it looks like. Go ahead.
Okay.
And what did it say?
Yeah, it looks like he says the story was that an intern wrote himself into the giveaway and was not aware that this was not allowed.
Yeah.
When he was one of the 50 to 100 winners, he wanted to tweet but used a PC that had Walton Chain official logged in, so the intern shot himself and Walton Chain in the foot.
He actually, I mean, think about it. He actually tweeted it. Hey, I won. It's like, come on, right on the Walton Chain. Oh my God. That was a rogue intern for sure.
Yeah. Though, I mean, hey, real talk, as far as like the perceived value, there's something about when the prize goes really high in value. Like, I'm just going to name names here, right? So when Justin Tron announced a Tesla giveaway and it didn't happen, people were extremely disappointed. And it's crazy because, the day before, nobody was expecting to get a Tesla for free. But then the moment that somebody thinks they're going to get a Tesla for free, it's like, oh my gosh, you're a crook. I'm not excusing him. That was a really bad move. But remind me again, what was the prize that this intern tweeted about?
200 Walton Chain, which is worth about $60 right now, something like that, $70. I mean, it's just something that happened, and obviously it shouldn't have happened. But Walton Chain acknowledged it. They said it won't happen again, and I mean, you can't control everybody. It's difficult. So it's not the actions of one person who defines the company. So. If that was the case, we'd all be in trouble. So
yeah.
Yeah, totally. So we got a comment from Big Crypto Dave. This is a little bit critical here. I'm gonna water this down. Dave, you're gonna have to accept my apology because I don't like going full frontal assault with my guests. Well, he says that he's concerned. I'm going to translate a little bit here. He's concerned about the involvement of Ian Bellina. Ian Bellina is a bit of a controversial character in the crypto space for some of us. For my part, don't know the guy. Don't have strong feelings towards him either way, but I have seen that occasionally he'll be overly generous with his praise on projects where he may possibly have an undisclosed relationship. Some people are concerned by his involvement in projects, and apparently,
who is it?
His name is Ian Bellina.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know if he had any kind of official involvement with Walton Chain at all for marketing or anything else.
No, I mean, I can't think of. I don't even know who that is. I never even heard of that name before.
Okay. Early Bitcoin whale has gone on to invest in some projects, has gone on to found a project or two, I think. I don't know if his current project is still running, but he's, it's a weird space. Look him up. You'll find him for sure.
What was his name again?
Ian. So IAN, Bellina, like whale.
Ballena.
Mm-hmm. I think it's spelled exactly like that.
We're gonna have to bust out the Spanish then.
Oh no! Yeah, right. Oh, no, mijo. No.
Sí.
Están listos. They're not ready.
Sí. No saben lo que están. No saben. Okay, let's go back to English now.
Yeah, right. Knowing that you're out in Hialeah, man, it brings me back. I lived there in 2000, so it's been a little while.
Another thing that I wanted to mention of Walton Chain, they're also part of the Shenzhen. You know, Shenzhen is the Silicon Valley of China. And by the way, they're also in South Korea. So it's not just China, they're also South Korean project. Not only did they create the Walton Chain, I believe it was called Blockchain Institute, but they renamed it the South Korean Blockchain Institute. That was created by Walton Chain. They changed the name recently, probably about a year ago. But you know, that's one of the things that's very interesting. But they're also part of the Shenzhen Blockchain Alliance, which has malls in there. Has the largest. If you want to look it up, I think I had it up open a little while ago.
Yeah,
But
I'd
it
like
has
the spelling,
sorry?
because if it's Shenzhen, then Shenzhen is interesting in that it's the Silicon Valley of China, but it's also the Detroit of China. It's great. I mean, it's a big place, and they do a lot of stuff there.
I'm just trying to see what the list here. Oh, there it is. Okay, so if you look it up in the median, it's going to be, and Walton Chain, which is actually Slick Tech, which is the hardware arm of Walton Chain, has a vice chairman position there. And the people that are in there is CIMC Intelligence Technology, which I believe is the largest technology in China. You also have Newsoft, City Chain, um, all these other ones. You have, if I'm not mistaken, who's the one that does? I think it's Badu. They're also involved in there somehow. I know the two Ma brothers are somehow involved indirectly, but they're still involved in there
Jeez.
somewhere as
That
well.
is amazing. No, that's amazing. Now to your point also, I mean, guys, for anybody who's not familiar with Jack Ma and the Ma family, like that'd be like saying that you have Jeff Bezos involved in your blockchain project. Essentially, I want to say Jack Ma actually has a higher net worth than Jeff Bezos, doesn't he? Today?
Oh, no, Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world.
Okay. All right. For some reason, I thought that Jack Ma was the only guy that could step to that. He might be the only person. Yeah. Right. So, that's amazing.
A billion here, a billion there. What's the difference, right?
Oh gosh, can you imagine having those kind of rounding errors?
Imagine.
Yeah, right.
We're here pinching pennies and stuff.
Yeah, we're over here pinching 200 Walton Chain at a time, 200
right.
WCTs at a time, falsifying our giveaways.
Did you stake that, by the way, the 200 I sent you?
I tried to. So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's pull up. I'm going to bring up the website right here and talk a little bit about, I think the blue paper is where WTA is mentioned, right? Not the white paper.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to bring up the blue paper on screen so the audience can see that. And just the three of us can chat over here in the corner. Tell us a little bit about the WTA wallet. How new is this when did this launch? What was the cause for the WTA wallet? And was this always in the roadmap?
Well, they created the WTA wallet in order for us to stake, because we always wanted to stake the Walton Chain. And the WTA is the autonomous, don't remember what it's called, Walton Chain Autonomous Token, so WTA, a little backwards. But we're going to use that for voting. We're going to use that for their mall. They have the Walty Mall. You could buy products there. It's not up and ready yet. Also, they're going to be using it for exchange fees, kind of like a token. Oh, and for voting. So we're going to have a voting time where we're going to use WTA in order to vote, to have the same thing like anything else. They're going to have a chairman, a president, whatever may be the case. We don't know the structure yet. I'm hoping that I'm going to be on there. I'm looking to, but we're going to be making decisions based on new projects. What we're going to allow them to come in, what we're going to help them get up and running. We don't know yet. It's still in the infancy, so it's just started. But with the WTC wallet, you can stake your WTC and get WTA tokens for that.
No, wow. Okay, there you go. So it's you stake WTC, and then WTA is the token you receive in return. I wasn't able to find WTA listed anywhere to see what the current value is against any kind of trading pair like Bitcoin or Ethereum or even USDT.
It's not there. The only exchange that has it right now is Taibi, Taibi, I believe. The only one. I think right now it's like 9 cents, somewhere about 9 cents, I think, per 9 WTC, 0.09 WTC per WTA token. So somewhere around there. So what is that, like 10 to 1, 9 to 1, whatever exchange it may be. So, but there's not really much volume there. It's only 2, 3, 4, 5 months old. It's not that long. So, but that is in the blue paper. You see it's planned for the future.
Got it. Okay. So, but the staking wallet you sent me a link to, I'm just going to call this out for the audience who maybe isn't aware of this. It was a mobile first wallet, was a mobile first experience, not a web wallet. I tried to check to see if there's some way to do that. And then I attempted to install it on a desktop emulator because I'd spent a lot of time on laptops and desktops. And I was curious, could I get this started or sign in with the credentials for a wallet on a desktop emulator like BlueStacks or Nox Player or something like that? There are some of us who, even for security purposes, like running the mobile wallets from an emulator on our laptop. It's just another way that you can help kind of like harden the security of your crypto holdings. So I was curious about that, and that didn't work. I had to install it on it's what is now quickly becoming my old Samsung phone. This used to feel so new, but I installed it here, and to get staking going, it required me to go through KYC before I began to stake. There was no there was no threshold. There was no warning that there was a specific amount that I would need to do KYC for to be able to withdraw anything. Can you speak to that a little bit? Was that a design choice, or what happened?
Yeah, they want to keep it good with KYC for the staking and for that wallet in order to, for us, especially for us in the United States. They want to market to all the different countries that require KYC, but that's the position they took, and they want to. But all you need is 200. I sent you actually, I think 201, because I wasn't sure if the gas was in there or not. But all you need is 200 WTC to stake, and you'll start getting WTA tokens right away.
Yes, and I received that. Thank you so much. That's confirmed. So so the audience knows. I've got to ask. Alex, in order to set up this interview and in order to agree for us to have you on the channel, did I say, hey, you got to send me coins, or this is a bounty interview only? We'll only talk to you if you send us something.
No, I did it on my own accord. I just wanted you to try it out.
Okay, and I appreciate that. I actually was not expecting that.
Yeah, you deserve it. You work very well.
Oh, thanks, man. And so you got to know that a portion of what you sent me, of course, will be going to Nicole as well, or you can send her 201 as well to cover the gas fee.
Well, if she installs the wallet, I'll do it.
Okay, hey, you guys heard it there.
Right, really will. I will.
Awesome,
no problem.
Awesome. So the struggle that I had with setting that up, and this is just me being a little bit awkward. In case it doesn't show, I'm very much a fan of privacy, and my concern with setting up KYC across various different exchanges, because I am KYC'd on different exchanges. My concern with setting up in too many places is that breaks operational security. Not because I fundamentally mistrust Walton Chain as a project or the leadership, or even the publisher of the wallet. But I did download a raw APK directly from the website. I didn't download it directly from a GitHub account where I could audit the code, or where I could check to see who worked on it, or I could figure out where I had recourse. So that kind of gave me pause right there. Up to the point of receiving some coins, I thought, okay, well, this is like receiving any other tokens, right? But with KYC, having to give my full name and then upload some kind of formal government ID or something, I just got a little bit nervous there. That's just me. For my part, I really like being able to register for KYC purposes, register my business. So I have an LLC in a very crypto-friendly state here in the United States. And when I can do KYC with that information, it's a bit of a OPSEC firewall for me, right? So I like being able to do that, and I just didn't have that as an option in this WTA wallet. So that's where it stopped for me. I'm sorry, man.
That's okay. And listen, if you don't want to stake, you just get a regular wallet. You don't need KYC. I mean, they have the regular wallet. I'm gonna have to say most likely they're probably designing a desktop wallet for WTC to do the WTA as well. It's just a little bit different, but we don't know yet. One thing I did want to mention that we didn't discuss is with Walton Chain. It was mineable, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I've got a funny story about that.
I'm a big miner. You know me. I love my mining. I love my GPUs.
Oh yeah.
Originally back in 2018, I believe it was, we were doing the testnet with the GPUs. I had like 18 1080 Ti's running there, just mining the WTC, and then I would sell it off to the Guardian master nodes, and they would pay me for that 3-to-1 because they would get 4-to-1 on that.
Yes.
So
guys, that was the secret. You're taking me back. So anybody who wasn't aware of WTC mining in the early days, first off, it was difficult to get multiple GPUs towards launch to mine WTC. And then after that point, if you knew somebody that operated a Guardian masternode, bro, you were in. You were making money.
we were making tons of money. I mean, I was popping off about 4, 5, 6 coins, blocks a day. That's about 3. I would get paid at $6, 18 times. Yeah, it's about $100 a day.
That's awesome.
But
That's awesome.
I didn't sell them. I held them. I'm a hodler. I don't sell.
That's awesome, man.
And they also, cool. And did you look up the Karen miner as well?
So I have seen the reviews of the Karen miner just recently. What can you tell us about the Karen miner today? I mean, it's a hybrid FPGA and ASIC, right? So logic controller on an FPGA with a little bit of fixed function ASIC chips, right?
Yeah, no, yes, it's something like that. It is similar to FPGA. If you saw Boscoin, he did a review on that as well. And I mean, right now they're not as profitable as they were before. I'm getting somewhere between 1.5, maybe $2 a day on that now. On each miner, I have 7 of them. And but what makes it more unique than any of them is that it uses only about 50, 60 watts each. Nothing.
Jeez.
That's less than a GPU, less than a 1060.
That is insane. So somebody's bringing up digital gold, guys. I just want to for the record, just say that that Jared over at Digital Gold, I feel really, really bad about his mining operation having to be liquidated at the time that it did. That the industry just kind of took a hit. But one of the last big bits of infrastructure that Jared put in place at his co-location facility was Walton Chain mining rigs, and I think in part because he also had a relationship with a grandmaster node, or guardian node rather.
Guardian, yeah.
Thank you. It's funny because jokingly here locally we call it grandmaster node, like Grandmaster Flash,
like RPG or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was thinking like more funky.
The 1 hour mark on our live stream right now. And, obviously we can keep going, but I just don't know how many more questions you have, Seth. And I wanted to let you know where we are on time.
Hey, definitely appreciate it. So, hey, live audience, we've got some viewers here. First off, thank you so much for hitting that like button. Thank you so much for sharing the link on Twitter. This makes a difference, guys, especially the Walton Chain community. And will be extremely happy to see Alex on the live stream. Clearly, he's a well-spoken and very knowledgeable ambassador for the project. And clearly, he's a stakeholder who's interested in seeing the project do well. So to have him here answering questions, it's awesome. It's even more awesome if you get more people to show up to ask him questions, right? So hit that link, share it. But that's awesome. So then you've been mining WTC since early on, clearly with multi-GPU. Now you're on the Karen miner. Tell me, have you already hit your break-even point on buying the Karen miner? And where are you in terms of profitability from that purchase?
If you look at it dollar-wise, no. But if you look at it WTC-wise, yes. Because we were able to buy it with WTC and I was holding anyways. I was never going to sell. So back then, it was when I bought it, the first one was WTC was about $2. And then the second round, it was about $1.80 and about 1,280 WTC to buy one. So I didn't really. I'm a hodler again. I don't really care. I don't sell anything. As a matter of fact, I bought some more coins today. I bought some more Teslas. I bought some more Ethereum. I bought more Walton Chain. I just keep buying every time I have an opportunity, and I just put it away. And it's WTC is a project I just stumbled on because I had news and somebody mentioned it and making all this money. And once I read the white paper, I was like, wow, this thing's unbelievable. Because think of, do you know any other project that not only has RFID with a blockchain, which I don't know of any, but they also design it themselves, and they're not dependent on third parties to buy it?
Yeah, the answer to that is no, right? Like I don't know any projects at all that are working with RFID. Actually, wait a second. Now that I think about it, there are some projects that are working with NFC. I know it's not perfect feature parity there, but there are some projects with NFC, such as VeChain. So there's that, but it's not the same thing, and they're not vertically integrated like you're saying. They're not designing their own RFID system from scratch to make sure that there's an ecosystem that they can properly control.
Yeah, but if you look up what's the distance for NFC, you got to be right next to it.
Right.
It doesn't have 10 meters like Walton Chain. A bunch of GP 20 meters, I don't remember.
Yeah, totally. It's intended to be a feature, I think. So it's all about, hey, she's back. Welcome back.
She just popped in and out. It's like sticking her head in the doorway like this,
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, no worries. So I'm trying to look up the main page for the Karen miner, and I'm just not finding it. So waltymall.com. Apparently it might
no, there's a page dedicated to Karen miner. I just don't have it on there right now.
Got it. Okay. It kind of looks like the SSL certificate is not registering correctly. It's not letting me navigate all the way through.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, Nefarious Technology is saying, doesn't VeChain support RFID as well? I think it might. I think it might support RFID. It definitely supports NFC. I think that the implementation is just intended to be different, right? There are some applications for which NFC makes sense. But when it comes to supply chain management for large amounts, like you're saying, being able to simultaneously scan dozens or hundreds of SKUs, right, and unique item IDs simultaneously. I mean, you want to be able to load a pallet at a time, not jump around to try to like manually add every individual product.
So, yeah, and what makes it, VeChain, they're similar technology, they're a good product, but they don't make and design manufacture their own hardware. While Walton Chain was a hardware company that added blockchain, not a blockchain company that added hardware. Very different.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Well, let's talk
They've been doing RFID for years.
Okay. So somebody's saying that the Kieran miner should be available on the Walton Chain main page. Yes, I'm on the Walton Chain main page here in English, and maybe I just need to scroll down farther to find it. I hope you forgive me. I haven't been reviewing any kind of hardware for a while. You may be aware that Savosk got the loaner from Bitware after I did of the CVP13, and at some FPGAs, it's just been really hard to carve out time to review FPGAs over the last year because Profit kind of did this really weird motion where one day it'd be super profitable to mine, and then the hardware manufacturer would say, "Quick, go make a video."
Yeah, I just found it. You want me to give you the website?
Yeah, please.
It's just waltonchain.org/en/ecosystem/Kieran miner.
Got it. Okay. And no spaces, no dashes in Kieran miner?
No. Yeah, so /en for English /ecosystem/Kieran miner.
Got it. Okay, so I pulled that up on screen right now.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. So Big Crypto Dave is saying, I've heard of supply chain projects for wine bottles, art, clothing, etc. There's quite a few. That's true. And there are some that are very niche. Coffee Coin, for example, was designed all around just coffee, right? But I don't know what kind of infrastructure they've created to help automate the supply chain management of that coffee, right? I think they've got a bit of a bottleneck in that it still requires somebody manually adding stuff to the ledger when it goes onto the blockchain, and then manually just striking it out or just saying that it's been fully delivered and consumed. How does Walton Chain handle that with consumable goods? The life cycle of the chicken again.
Yeah, the chicken, the dead chicken, not the live one.
Yeah,
so,
right.
I like to see you pin an RFID on a live chicken. So anyway, if you look at, there's actually a video, I'll have to send you the link on that as well, which shows Walton Chain with clothing. It's called a smart rack. It's pretty interesting. I don't know if you have it there. Maybe you could take a quick search.
Yeah, so I did take a look at all the media you sent me, and I did see that video, the demonstration.
Is that interesting? Because there's keywords that are important here. The most important word is big data. Not only when you take it off the rack, it knows you take it off the rack, it puts it on the screen where it's made, what color, what size, the price, you can pay for different tokens. It knows when you go try it on. It knows if you put it back on the rack. It knows if you paid for it. So think of all that information it's tracking you to get your habits. That's what Facebook has been doing for years. Now that's Walton Chain is going to be, maybe whoever has that project that smart rack can do the same, can track their customers and their likes and needs and start promoting the products to them.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm still just kind of wondering, as far as consumables, when things get to their destination, how does at what point does the big data resolve? Right? At what point does it just either get stricken from the ledger, or is there? And this might be kind of like a really nerdy question about the nuts and bolts of how it works. But as far as just making sure that the ledger doesn't just grow out of control by adding millions upon billions of products, as SKUs and individual units, they'd be like MAC addresses, right? Sure, you can keep adding to it again, or IPv6. You can keep adding to it for sure, indefinitely if you wanted to. But why? It just seems wasteful if you never retire something, if you never get rid of data at all.
So you're thinking of the size?
Yeah.
You're thinking of Bitcoin is whatever gigabytes and so forth. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. What's the plan for scale with Walton Chain?
That I'm not sure. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know the technical aspect of it. I'm I'm assuming that they're going to keep it on there for a while. It's not going to be a problem that we have to address, anywhere in the near future, I'm sure. But by the time that becomes a problem, to have some kind of solution. I'm not sure.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Mhm.
I mean, and we've been talking about about scaling Ethereum right earlier in this video, and scaling so many other blockchains earlier. It seems like there are a lot of really great solutions that are coming up, and a lot of portable solutions. Apparently, we discovered that would fit onto novel blockchains like Walton Chain. So,
But there's another thing I can tell you about that. Remember, you have the main Walton Chain project, right? And then you have the child chains have all their information autonomous to the Walton chain. The only time it goes into the Walton chain, when it has to go across to another location, another child chain per se. So let's say a distributor and a trucking company, they're going to want to share information, but not all the information. You want to keep something private. You just want to get maybe a ledger saying where it's going to go, what's the location, the address, and very basic information without giving all your secrets of your company. So they're going to keep it independent. But once you want to go to another child chain, that's when you use the Walton chain gas, the WTC per se.
got it. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about user privacy then. So now that you bring it up, that there's a little bit, there are a couple of points at which the tokens sort of shake hands, and you may have an opportunity to rinse certain kinds of user data. At any point, do consumers need to interact with the Walton chain ecosystem in a way that compromises their privacy?
Remember, it's going to go on the blockchain, and whoever does the smart contracts can give as much or as little information as they want. So if you want just the track and you want to give the consumer, let's say, a generator key just to get the information of tracking, you can. And that's an encryption. Nobody's going to hack into that. The only one's going to have the key is the consumer.
Got it. Okay. So it sounds like then the ecosystem is still being built out in that way. And as far as the last mile of delivery to consumer.
Yes. All the way. The ideal would be all the way from the manufacturer or the fields where they grow the consumables all the way to the person's door. Not just that, they also have hardware where you could track, like let's say a refrigerated truck, they could monitor the temperature, things like that. That's really starting to come up, in the next couple of months.
Got it. Okay, man, this is going to be kind of a big deal for foodies, obviously, where they'll want to know like every little thing, and you can whatever GMP for nutritional supplements as well, right? Like or CGMP for nutritional supplements.
And you're talking about also smart cities, smart trash, smart food, smart this, smart that, One Silk Road. There's so many projects going on right now that they could be involved.
That is awesome. Are there any projects right now or any partnerships right now that are popular to the extent that people will know about it?
Let me see. I have a list here. Let's take a look here.
That's funny. Michael in the comment section, he says, fridges will scan it. Samsung will know when you ate the chicken and what you had with it, where you brought it, where you bought it from, which farm the chicken came from, etc.
Well, at least you get the same chicken.
I gotta be honest though, man. If I fridged you that much about me, I'd probably put a bullet through it. I'd be really worried, right?
Let me tell you. That's the same. Let me tell you. To your point, that's the same arguments that people have for smartphones. And look, we all have them. Think
That's
about
true.
it. If 10 years ago, I would have told you, hey, you're gonna have a computer phone that can track with GPS, know exactly where you're at. It tracks all your information. You'd be like, I'm not gonna touch that. Here you are.
Yeah.
Right away.
Well, just so you know, guys, so anybody who's in the live stream right now, just so you're aware, on Mineyour.biz, we're partnering with a former Samsung Telecom USA market. Gosh, I can't think. Field sales manager for the state of Texas. We'll be partnering with a former Samsung dude to start offering fully not crypto phones. They're not like dedicated crypto phones, but we are going to be offering fully flashed Lineage OS and Graphene OS devices. So like Alex saying, if you want your phone to spy on you just a little bit less, we're going to be offering those available for crypto.
You want me to post on there on the website on here on the chat the link to that?
Please do. Actually, it might not go live because you might not have.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's the partnership.
It might block you, so I'll have to add it.
I'm blocked. It's just not as long as it's not forever. So
it's funny. It's not giving me the chance to unblock it. That's weird.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, it's set to automatically block links. Well, there was a time, right, in crypto where like you get botnet attacks, right? Where it's like, hey, come check out, such and such token. It's like, dude.
Yeah. but that's, I mean, it's interesting that, Walton Chain is taking that position of the RFID. I really like that. It's unique. Again, I'm sure, one thing is like, what's that one by IBM? It's One Lens. They're doing more like the big containers with Maersk and all that, but they're not doing individual. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because think of a product that makes it all the way from the manufacturer to the front door, and all that payment settlement, customs. It gets the tax at the customs. We don't know where that's going yet. That's not for. We have no idea where that's going. I mean, we're still 5-10 years away from that. We have to get customs on board. But imagine it just does all that without having any interaction. No theft. No. What's the biggest problem in anything, in any kind of business? It's always the humans. We make the most errors.
Mhm.
So, once you take that out and it's all automated, it's going to flow right through. And of course, going to be a substantial amount of money. It's going to be saved for the companies.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. I mean, so let's talk a little bit about shrink on that note. The human element where things kind of go bad. I've got a little bit of experience in not retail management, but in retail vendor support. That's how I had that connection with the Samsung Telecom folks. But as far as getting a product into a store and then just having it like grow legs and disappear, this apparently happens, right? There's a percentage of this that's built into the business model of retail. So does Walton Chain have any kind of provision for this where it is easier to just automate inventory control?
You mean like, so for theft?
Yes.
Or for errors?
Theft. They call it shrink in retail because it sounds less harsh. But when something has already been gone into the stock room and then it disappears, right? Their stock shrinks.
Well, think about it. So let's say, for instance, a product. Right now, how they do it, let's say, for instance, makes a product, they just put on the bill of lading whatever they want, whatever information they want. But with the RFID, if 7 items with unique identifiers made it to the warehouse but didn't make it to the truck, where it got stolen. So you could honestly put, and also in the warehouses, you would put all the equipment around, so if they take out the door, it will sound.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. It seems like also as far as scanning all the inventory as well, there's quite a bit of hardware installation, support, sales, everything else that Walton Chain stands to gain from. What does it look like as far as the addressable market that Walton Chain actually can sell to? And what is the likelihood of various retail outlets actually making that change? Have they ever shown an indication that they would change to Walton Chain's vertically integrated inventory systems?
No, absolutely. As a matter of fact, for the items that are sold here in the United States, I'm already building a team up, because what are you going to do when you sell the product? You're going to sell the hardware, you're going to sell the support, and of course, the most important part is the programming. Because unless you have programmers to design, they're not going to know how to do it. I mean, unless you have programmers that can design whatever they need in order to do the RFID tracking, you're gonna need a team to support it. So there's going to be, that's one of the things is in 1994, 1995, I started a couple of internet companies. And I remember I told some of my friends, oh, the internet's going to be the best thing in the world. They're like, oh, you're crazy. It's a passing fad. And here we are, 20 years later, it's everybody depends on it. This is going the same thing with crypto. Crypto's going, and blockchain technology. It's going to be here to stay. So what's going to be in demand? I remember when I tried to sell a website, a web page, $500, I couldn't sell it for the life of me. Once mass adoption came in, I was charging, $2,000, and I had too much work. That's going to happen with the programmers here. All these programmers are now good that are specialized in blockchain. There's going to be such a run for them once the companies start, adapting to that. And mass adoption is going to be the next.
Well, Alex, that's the case for big data, machine learning, and just development specialists in general right now. But to your point, I believe that it's going to get even worse when there's a demand for blockchain, and there just aren't enough specialists at all in the program space.
Big Crypto Dave just made a comment saying that a story came out today about Amazon getting a blockchain supply chain patent. It sounds like Walton Chain is going to have some big league competition.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's okay, because there's, when you talk about cars, you got Ford, you got Chevy, you got GMC, you got all these other ones. My target is going to be more like the small to middle market. It's not going to be the bigger ones. Let's say, for instance, something like to use an example, like Fubu. If you're familiar with Fubu, maybe they have
yeah
Fubu. They have like 15, 20 locations. That would be my perfect client. Somebody that can scale to that, and and have the savings that they need, that they will get from this type of project. So that's going to be my customer. I'm not going to be going after the Amazons or the JetBlues or
Got
for
it.
the
Yeah,
big companies. That's,
you want Louis Vuitton, Supreme, Fubu, Nike. Maybe not Nike, but
I know.
but if you could get it, yeah,
If I land Nike, then
yeah, tell you're
that'll be
done.
a great one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you'll own every Kieran miner that's ever made, and the next gen too.
Well, let's see. In supply chain, I think Cardano already has New Balance. So
what?
yeah,
Seriously?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
That's a massive acquisition. I mean, because I think we
I
talked
think
about
we
it.
talked about it really briefly last week.
Yeah, well, and briefly also just talking about how like New Balance in the sneaker flipping scene, right? If you're into that,
Yep.
man, they've got some SKUs. They've got some SKUs that bill like I think we said over $1,000 for numerous models of these New Balance shoes, and it's like, okay, it's the sort of thing where like you'd want to validate authenticity. The blockchain is the perfect fit.
$1,000 for shoes. Oof.
Yeah, but I mean, like Nicole said, that's New Balance. That's how they roll. So you get a brand like Supreme, for example, which is also they're not the smallest brand out there, but to be very tactical about customer acquisition with an offering like what you have, I think they might fit the profile of what you want very well, compared to something like Fubu, and definitely versus like Under Armour, right, where they're everywhere, right? They're in every sporting goods store. You maybe can't even accommodate them at first because you just can't get into all the outlets where they're sold. But Supreme, as I understand it right now, they're coming up. And so you have that same distribution model that's kind of similar to Fubu, or very limited retail outlets, but I don't know.
I mean, that would be my ideal customer, something like Fubu, maybe Crocs or something. I'm just using those as examples. Not these huge billion-dollar companies, but let's say some like $100 million company or something like that, or $50 million company. That would be a good fit for me. Where I could actually meet the owner and explain to him how it works. Maybe we'll give him a sample and and show him how it'll save him a lot of money and also theft and authenticity, of course.
Yeah, very, very cool. So that makes a lot of sense. As far as ways that people can be involved, ways that people can be involved meaningfully and enjoy a stake in the outcome, a stake in the block reward. Right now, there's a WTA staking wallet. Clearly, there's a Kieran miner. Is there any other way to address proof of work on Walton Chain, and not like lose your shirt? GPU mining obviously is no way to do it.
No, I mean the algorithm's actually open source, so Kieran miners are not the only ones on there. I mean, we probably get about a little bit over 50% of the blocks. Somebody else is doing the rest. We don't know who it is. It's some miners. It's probably a GPU farm that got the algorithm and made it for GPUs. We don't know, but it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. It's better to have less than 50% of hash rate anyways, because it shows that it's solid.
Sure. I've got to ask so the algorithm changed then from launch for consensus.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it was originally with the ARC20 token. It was on the test net. It's give me a minute. I'm trying to think what algorithm. It's the one with Dash, X11. It's an X11 variant. So it uses that. They designed their own in there, but yeah.
Got it. So basically, it hasn't really changed then since launch. It's still the same variant of X11 that has a bit of randomization added in. That makes sense to me. I mean, we talked about it for a while. Some members of the community, we talked about using some device a bit like what was released by Squirrel, the Acorn, to do some of the sequencing in a more advanced way, a more dedicated, advanced way, and then just throw some of the X11 algorithms at the GPUs, and then do some optimization on FPGA, or to try to repurpose hash boards from the Bitmain D3. But we never got anywhere with that. It's a cool idea.
Yeah. So I mean, but as you can see, if you looked at the Kieran miner, it's very efficient. I mean, I have it in the living room. It's like it doesn't make any noise. I have one in the living room, just one. The other 6 I have them at my data center. But you could put it right next to TV. I'm watching movies. You don't even hear it. It's that quiet.
Nice. That's awesome. Okay,
compared to my GPU rigs.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! Yeah, those things are depending on what you're running, can feel like a jet.
Well, my fans are 100%. So
awesome. So we wow. Okay, so Nefarious is saying that Adidas has a contract with VeChain right now, so they are growing in that way. Are there any notable brand relationships with? And I apologize because we had the homepage up. I probably could have just read it there with Walton Chain today in the apparel space.
No. I mean, they did have, if I'm not mistaken, I can't think of the name right now. Give me 1 minute. Let me pull it up. Had it open a minute ago, but It was, if you go to the website, it's too long. I can't tell what it is. The apparel. So they have one. Let's see. IoT companies, media, association, others. Oh, one thing I did want to tell you about is I forgot about that. The Love Only diamond. Have you seen that one yet?
No.
That's if you go to www.loveonly.love, that they're in Canada. They're also using they're starting to use Walton Chain. They're designing that right now for putting the authenticity on the diamonds and make sure they're authentic.
So it's
And
loveonly.love.
www.loveonly.love. Yes.
Okay.
You see that?
Okay. All right. Now I got a Wix.com error message. Plus, you got me worried here, Alex. You go to a website like loveonly.love and there's a 90% chance it's going to be porn. I can't do that on YouTube.
Right? Jewelry porn. No. I mean, that's what the website says here. Let me see. Love Diamond. I don't know what the website is, but Love Diamond. They're based out of Canada. They just, and that website didn't come up.
Yeah, it didn't come up for me either. I got a "this domain doesn't exist yet" error from Wix as well.
The Love Diamond store?
So it's 8 o'clock. That means we've been on for an hour and a half. If you have a bunch more questions, I don't want to end the interview if you guys want to keep going, but I have to.
Yeah. You know, I think we do need to wind it down for the day. Guys, what remaining questions do you have from Walton Chain, or do you have for Alex from Walton Chain right now? While we're waiting for those to come in, Alex, my question is right now, you mentioned that you are, you're actively doing some business development for Walton Chain in the United States. What does that look like by way of territory management? What does that look like by way of team building? What does that look like by way of corporate structure? Do you have a team? Is this your primary thing? Are you doing this more to support the blockchain ecosystem as a stakeholder, or is this really more like a business that you're operating?
Well, when I was in my 20s, I was a programmer in SQL, and I loved technology and I loved IT. But then I got kind of bored of it and went into real estate and mortgages. That's what I do now. I'm a real estate broker and mortgage broker for 20 years. So I've been doing that, to sustain my life, of course. But now I see that once I saw blockchain, it bit me, and I loved it. And I love the way it works. I love the technology. I like the concept. I like the consensus. I like that it's it's decentralized. I loved everything about it. So right now I'm still doing my real estate and mortgages, but I do probably about 15% of my time into the cryptocurrency space, tweeting and talking and meeting people and doing speeches. And I mean, obviously now I haven't done any speeches in the last couple of months because of what's going on. But if you look, I have a couple of locations that I spoke and discuss how Walton Chain could work for the business. But right now, all I'm doing is branding myself, and I am team building. I'm meeting people that are programmers. Those are going to be my core. I need programmers that are, whenever this breaks out and I get these projects up and running, then they're ready to start programming. And I don't want to have any employees. I'm just going to have them as consultant, project by project.
Sure. Yeah. 1099ers.
That's right.
Drill, guys.
Yep.
What kind of value can you create? Don't ask about pay without making value.
Yeah, and if you know anything about programmers, they wake up at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and go to sleep at 5 in the morning. So
Awesome. Well, thank you. That kind of helps me understand a little bit better with the current state of Walton Chain business development here in the United States. Does it look different in any other area of the world where it is maybe a little bit more formalized into a business development team or like a B2B sales team?
No, I mean, in South Korea, they have a lot more activity there. Obviously, in China, they're working with the local government there, and getting. We all know that cryptocurrency is not legal there right now, but they're working that way, especially with the digital yuan. But they're working on that aspect, and then obviously the one in Brazil. There's Latin America. There's UK. One of the person there, Yayo Wam, he's one of the biggest proponents for that. He's great. We have this community in Walton Chain. If you go and start, going to the chat channels, you'll see we're all very excited. But one thing about Walton Chain is they don't shill. If you notice, you don't hear anything about them. They're very, very quiet. They like to get a working product, before they go out there and start shilling. So that's what I like about them.
Got it. That's awesome. Okay, well, it sounds like we don't have any other questions coming in from the comments section. Nicole, thanks so much for keeping us honest with valuing our guests' time. Alex, you've been so generous.
Thank you,
we couldn't
Alex.
ask more from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the invitation. I'd like to do it again sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
thank you.
I think we'd make that happen. Maybe next time we do a mining special where we just kind of show the Kieran miners and chat a little bit about that.
Yeah, and I'll even bring a Karen mine and show it on the screen.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Love that. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching to the end of the video. Thanks for being subscribed. Thanks for being supportive, checking out the links that we have in this video. I want to say that we should have a separate page on Mineyour.biz just for Walton Chain post this interview. And we should have some links that are provided by Alex and from some of the other international Walton Chain community, so you can see more in depth about this project without necessarily having to read developer speak or read the white paper per se, the blue paper, for example, some other documentation. So be on the lookout for that. Guys, you're the reason that we make this video. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, my friend. Take care. Nice talking to you guys. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.